Welcome to the Six Figure Business Mastery Podcast, where every week Kirsten and Jeannie dive into the essential topics to fuel your business growth. From copywriting to course creation, mindset to video marketing, they've got you covered. Tune in for expert guest interviews on all things marketing and business, and learn how to work on your business, not just in it. So, get ready to unlock your business potential and take it to the next level.
Hey everyone, I'm Kirsten and this is Jeannie with Six Figure Business Coaching and the Marketing VA Advantage, and we're excited to have you here on our podcast today. Jeannie, would you like to introduce our guest?
I would. We are honored to have Scott Gabdulin here from Lero, and he is going to talk to us about getting leads. So he has a proven track record of turning the trickle of prospects into a roaring cascade of business opportunities. I love that. His expertise isn't just in understanding the funnel, but optimizing, expanding, ensuring businesses not only compete, but thrive. Today he's going to talk about the value of leads for small businesses. So thank you so much for joining us, Scott.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here.
I feel like lead generation is always a top of mind topic for businesses, because obviously if you're not getting leads in the door, you're not making sales, which means you're not making money. So you've got some great tips today to talk about lead generation and how you see small businesses doing that.
Yes, we work with a lot of different small businesses. As a matter of fact, I run a number of my own small traditional businesses as well as my wife. And something that we realized at the early stages of most of the small businesses is that it's really difficult to find people who you can actually offer your service. You run through your friends and your family fairly quickly, and that opportunity pool dries up within a few weeks, if not maybe a month. And generating leads is really a best way to, I think, build up that initial momentum in terms of revenue before you start to grow a really holistic approach to your brand. That's at least a philosophy that we apply. So with our clients, a lot of times what we do, and most of them are in home services, they are businesses under 100, under 200, under $500,000 who are really looking to start to make money right now. And when we generate leads for them, all they have to do is just jump on a call, get a conversation going with a potential customer. And then if they're good at sales, that's a very important point. You have to be good at closing, right? It's just being a good operator. That's great, but you also require a sales skill in order to close folks whenever they're calling you as looking for your services. So whenever they're able to do that, we see their cash flow increasing quite fast. And as a result, they're able to take some of that revenue and start to reinvest it back into the business. They can hire more people to help them in terms of contractors, subcontractors, full-time employees, as well as start to invest into the marketing of their own brand, their own business.
So if a business really can't afford to hire an agency, because I know a lot of them just can't do that, what do you recommend for small businesses as far as lead generation?
Yeah, if you're not at a place where you can invest into agency or outside help, I would say that the best way would be to perhaps to go and learn on your own. So do it yourself approach. And the best leads that we find are usually on Google. Okay, so that's maybe a secret, maybe not, but that's what works for us. Google Ads is fantastic for vast majority of niches out there, industries, because Google Ads are very much a bottom of the funnel channel. So when people go on Google, what they do is that they have immediate problems that they're trying to resolve. Imagine plumbing. I had a basement, a pipe burst, and I had to find someone right there. I went on Google, I found someone was here within an hour. That's an easy close for a plumber, just because they know that someone has an emergency and they'll pay whatever needs to be paid in order to solve the problem. So that's what's the beauty of Google, is that whenever people comes through that particular channel, they're more likely to translate into an actual transaction. However, when you do work in specific niches that are more higher end, I would say real estate niche, very much corporate accounting, insurance, mortgage, lead generation tends to become quite expensive on Google. So what you might want to do instead is start to invest into paid advertising on social. So we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and other platforms. But the only thing that you have to keep in mind is that whenever someone is on social media, they're obviously not looking for your service. They're not there to solve a problem. They're there to be entertained. So you have to be very much mindful of that, is because if Google Ads is a bottom of the funnel tactic or channel, then social media is the top of the funnel. So you have to spend some time nurturing the leads and closing the gap between the lead being ready to buy something from you and actually just being on the platform, being entertained. So that's the only thing you have to keep in mind. The reason why there is a difference between Google and social media is because Google is finite. So there's only so much opportunity there. It's not infinite. There is only so many people searching for plumbers or electricians or tree service or lawn care or corporate accounting. On Facebook, there's 6 billion people. You can reach out to them anytime you want, and that's the difference. But across both of those kind of opportunities, it's all about paid advertising. In our opinion, that's the fastest way to reach the audience. Facebook ads paid advertising in general starts running within 24 hours, and you just got to be ready after that to get on a call and start closing the leads if your ads are done well, obviously.
Yeah. So do you encourage people to run on social, run an ad to a free lead magnet or a free webinar or something to warm them up a little bit? Or do you go right into let's chat?
Yeah, I think that would depend on the product or service that you offer. If someone is a therapist, there's probably a value in giving something away for free just because you have to build trust, right? And if someone is looking for a therapy session, it's likely not something that's an emergency. It's going to be more of a long-term investment where it's 6, 10, 12, 20 different sessions over the course of the next 6 to 12 months. So I think giving away free modules where they can learn a little bit about self-help, meditation perhaps, or anything else that could help with the problems that they're facing, that could be a good solution. However, if you are in home services, let's say lawn care and tree services, your probably best bet would be to try and capture the information right away in terms of what's your phone number, what's your address, we'll give you a free quote, right? So the biggest selling point is going to be in some kind of an estimate, some kind of an evaluation visit and whatnot. Maybe most of the time folks are going to be maybe conscious about their front yard and they're going to be like, hey, can you just tell me what's going on here? Is there pests, right? I'm not sure if I should invest money into service of any kind. And that's what a free home evaluation or free yard evaluation, where it could be super helpful. Yeah.
So what do you recommend for real estate agents and mortgage people, just out of curiosity?
Oh, that one is tough. We try to stay away from that niche just because it's very competitive and saturated. We see better return elsewhere. But if my wife and I both actually consider getting a real estate license ourselves just because we love real estate as investors. But if I was to do that, I think what I would do is I actually would utilize quite a bit of YouTube content, video content. What does tend to happen is that when you work with real estate agents, a lot of it comes down to trust and basically making sure that someone is experienced enough for me to get the best deal I can. So what I would recommend is some kind of a video on a page where it showcases maybe 1 or 2 minutes what you do, as well as what kind of deals you got for your clients. And then afterwards, an opportunity for someone to book a free evaluation of the house, or maybe to have a free call to explore amazing opportunities that you have as an investor, right? So that would be my recommendation. But again, we're not particularly, we don't have extensive expertise in that particular niche, but that's what I would do is if I was doing it for clients or for myself.
We love video marketing, so we're right there with you on that one.
Sure.
Absolutely. When do you want to move from investing in leads to investing in marketing?
If you are at the point as a small business owner where you don't have to be 24/7 running around the city and performing the job and fulfilling the services, I think that's a good time to start to evaluate whether you have the extra revenue that you could direct towards bigger marketing efforts. Or there's obviously going to be always a question of, do you hire more help as employees to do the jobs that you actually offer your clients, or do you invest it into marketing? The thing that quite often comes up with businesses that work with us is pretty logical question. Scott, we've gone from zero to $220,000 in the last year and a half, right? We have someone who's done that. And he's basically saying, what if one day you just disappear, right? When something happens to you, all those leads just dry up, right? Because he doesn't have a website, really. He doesn't invest into the website. And it's a logical question to ask at a certain point where you've got 3-4 folks working for you, and all of your kind of business is coming essentially through leads through a particular business. So that's where we honestly tell them is that, yeah, you should start investing into marketing. You should build a website. You should start to look into improving your Google business profile, right? Collecting as many, you should be doing that either way from the beginning, collecting business reviews, 5-star reviews from every customer that's happy, and just starting to do more of SEO, SCM, as well as starting to invest a little bit into social and video. So again, it's at a point where you have revenue to start to diversify. That's a good point to start to look beyond the leads and start to look into more of do the services or go invest into your own education and learn how to do it yourself. I've been teaching digital marketing for 5 years as well in local colleges in Toronto and educational startups. And I actually had a student who sat in my class for 2 weeks. He came back after 2 weeks and he said, I did what you told me to do on my page in terms of SEO, change the title and whatnot. And I'm now ranking on the first page of Google, and I had to hire an assistant to help me with the calls. So it really does help to actually start to invest into your own business, but you also got to be mindful of where stage of the business you're in. And do you want to invest into your own education where you do it yourself because you have the time, or do you want to be more in the business still and you out it to an agency?
Yeah, it's interesting because we've been working with clients in marketing for a long time. And one of the things that we find to be true is that business owners that fall in love with marketing,
yeah,
they tend to really do a great job. Their brand's really strong. And I think that it is that desire to learn. And we've got a guy who owns a moving company. And of course, in the beginning, I'm sure he's schlepping everything up and down the steps, but now he's got many trucks and lots of people working for him. And he is just fantastic on video. He has a great presence on social media, and he really enjoys doing that. Same thing we have another client who's a lawyer. And again, just fantastic on video because again, it's all about education. But again, falling in love with marketing, getting to the point where you really enjoy learning about SEO, you enjoy learning about video marketing, you enjoy learning about ads. Not that you'll always do it all yourself, right? But that you really understand it enough to make the decision of, should I outsource it or should I hire an agency? What should I do to go to that next level in my business?
Yeah, and that's a great point. Video is a bit of a unicorn, is that no matter what size of the business someone is in, is a business owner is doing videos, they just enjoy doing it. They love doing it at any size, 1 million, under 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. They can still be in it and see the ROI from it. However, if someone is small business under $1 million a year and they're doing SEO, it makes sense. But once you cross that point of $1 million, do you really want to be sitting on a website and tinkering with a headline? Like, it's not worth your time anymore because you could be recording a video, right? So that's the type of service that you start to outsource to somebody else. But video, yeah, it is a truly unicorn just because you get to see yourself. Other people get to build trust with you via the video. It builds your brand. I see a lot of business owners just staying with the video for a really long time, like Alex Hormozy and Cody Sanchez. They're just examples of how you go into hundreds of millions of dollars and you're still generating videos of yourself. So yes.
Yeah. So fascinating. Yeah, we follow both of them and they do a great job. And it is so amazing because if you watch someone's content, you watch enough of it, you do feel like you really know them. So another question for you with ads, do you prefer static ads or do you prefer video ads with your clients, or does it just depend on the industry?
So video is great. It just has a high barrier to entry. Right. So if you were to run ads, definitely video would probably work great. For us, the biggest selling point in terms of lead generation is that we can stand up a campaign within 24 hours. So for us to go and create a video and edit it and all that stuff, that would take too long. So especially if it's Google Ads, there's no real reason to do video there. There's no opportunity there. So we don't invest into that as much. And for a vast majority of the clients, we mostly focus on text and images. However, video would be fantastic as part of the brand kind of building, doing their own marketing. I would say video is a mandatory thing just because then you can really customize the look, the feel of it, align it with what your brand is supposed to be. Whereas for us, whenever we do lead generation, we don't touch your website. everything is very generic. The whole point is just to solve a problem, right? So when they call to you, that's really where the transition happens, where you offer your unique value proposition. But before that, everything is fairly generic. We focus primarily on conversion rates. If it converts, works, and past that point for us is just not as important. But yes, video works fantastic as long as I think it comes from the brand itself, which with leads we don't do as much with. Yeah.
This has been absolutely fantastic.
You're a wealth of knowledge, Scott. We appreciate you coming on and talking to us and educating our audience.
Yeah, so if people want to get in touch with you to talk about you running ads for them and helping them with lead generation, how would you like them to reach out to you?
Yeah, you can find me on my website, scottgabdulin.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn or Twitter under the same name, or you can check out our lead generation website, lead gen agency website, lero.io. So it's Learo, Lero, leads hero. Bit of a cheeky twist to it, but yes, that's where you can find me and you can get in touch with me. I'll be happy to work with you or evaluate your situation and see how we can help.
Excellent. And Gabdulin is spelled just like it sounds, Gabdulin. Scott
Right.
Gabdulin. Awesome,
That's
Scott.
right.
Thank you so much for being here. We'll have to have you back another time because I know you've got so many great topics that we can talk with you about that will truly help everyone who's listening. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's definitely a pleasure. I'm happy to share as much as I can, and hopefully your audience will find whatever we talked about helpful, and looking forward to hearing the feedback.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Thank you, Scott. We'll sign off now.
Thanks for listening to the Six Figure Business Mastery Podcast. If you enjoyed listening to this episode and you are ready to leverage video marketing on all online platforms, or maybe even start your own video podcast, then you need to check out the Done For You and Done With You program at themarketingvaadvantage.com and take your business to the next level.